Hi everybody, Father Tom here from St. Teresa, and looking forward to this coming Sunday, which is I believe in the year 24th Sunday of our church year, if that means a lot to you, the 24th, but going through the Gospel of Matthew. And now we're at the Gospel of Matthew and chapter 18, chapter 18, and the great parable dealing with forgiveness. Strong one, powerful, I really enjoy it, and hope I can share that same interest and joy to you as well. You know, Jesus speaks quite often about forgiveness. You know, it's in the Our Father, and I think so frequently because he knows how difficult it is to forgive, right? We struggle with forgiveness, and Jesus keeps reminding us, insisting on us, right? My Heavenly Father will treat you just the way you as you forgive others. Ooh. So let's listen to this gospel in chapter 18 as Peter approaches Jesus, right? Here we go. Peter approached Jesus and asked him, Lord, if my brother sins against me, how often must I forgive? As many 7 times? Jesus answered, I say to you, not 7 times, but 77 times. That is why the kingdom of heaven may be likened to a king who decided to settle accounts with his servants. When he began the accounting, a debtor was brought before him who owed him a huge amount. Since he had no way of paying it back, his master ordered him to be sold, along with his wife, his children, all his property, in payment of the debt. At that the servant fell down, did him homage, and said, Be patient with me, and I will pay you back in full. Moved with compassion, the master of that servant let him go and forgave him the loan. When that servant had left, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him a much smaller amount. He seized him and started to choke him, demanding, Pay back what you owe. Falling to his knees, his fellow servant begged him, Be patient with me, and I will pay you back. But he refused. Instead, he had his fellow servant put in prison until he paid back the debt. Now, when his fellow servants saw what had happened, they were deeply disturbed and went to their master and reported the whole affair. His master summoned him and said to him, You wicked servant, I forgave you your entire debt because you begged me to. Should you not have pity on your fellow servant as I had pity on you? Then in anger his master handed him over to the torturers until he should pay back the whole debt. So will my heavenly Father do to you unless each of you forgives your brother, your sister, from your heart. The Gospel of the Lord. You know, it's pretty remarkable that Jesus develops this parable. And here we are 2,000 years later, and it's such a powerful, illustration. It still resonates. I mean, clearly we see the point, and you almost picture the whole scene in your mind. How Jesus simply was able to put this parable together. And so Peter asked him, Lord, how many times must I forgive? 7 times? Now he thinks that's pretty good. 7 times, right? Let me look over here in the book of Genesis here in chapter 4. It tells the story of Cain slaying his brother, and what God says is that if anyone tries to take vengeance on Cain, vengeance shall be taken upon him 7-fold. And that's vengeance. So maybe now Peter, knowing that or using that, instead of having vengeance 7 times, he will give forgiveness 7 times. Right? He thinks, wow, I am really extravagant in my forgiveness. And Jesus says, no, Peter, not 7 times, but now this is, again, difference with the translations. Here it says, and now when we just read from New American Bible, Revised, 77 times. Other translations say 70 times 7. That's quite a difference. 490, right? If you do the math, blah, 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 or 77. But actually, either way, it's still an exorbitant number of times. What Jesus is saying is, there is no limit to our forgiveness. We must forgive every time. So if you're keeping track, you're keeping count, I'm sorry, there is no number. Okay, I'm done, I'm finished. We always got to forgive. Always forgive. Now, again, now the different translations, and I'm a little disappointed in the New American Bible, because one, it says, the first fellow, he owed his master a huge amount. Now, what is it, how much is a huge amount? All of us probably have our own idea what a huge amount is. If you're a pauper, $100 could be a huge amount. If you're a million, all depends how, your situation. So huge amount, really, in the literal Greek, okay, now you go, remember, it's written in Greek, so this translation literally would be 10,000 talents. Okay, 10,000 talents, they were gold coins, talents, worth a lot of money. Now, a talent, keep this in mind, is worth 6,000 denarii. Okay? What's a denarii? That was another coin when there was the daily, what one earned in the daily work. All right? So you worked the whole day, you were given a denarii. All right? So a talent is worth 6,000 of that. And so now this fella owes 10,000 talents. If you do the math, it gets a little bit, 6,000 days, and he owes him 10,000 talents. That would be 160,000 years of pay. All right? How much? 160,000 years of pay, which means there's no way he's going to pay. It's impossible. Like if you owe $1 trillion, you're not doing it. And so he was so afraid to put his wife, his children, probably everything, and he begged and pleaded. And back then, during the time of Jesus, prison basically was a debtor's prison. If you did some sort of capital offense, they didn't hold you in prison, have a sentence, appearance, court appearance. You got killed right away. Right? So you weren't in prison. If you were guilty of something serious, you received your punishment rapidly and quickly. So he was in debtor's prison. And so he pleads, and the master, he forgives him. What mercy. All right? What mercy. Now, that's only part of it. Now he comes up to a fellow who owes him some money, right? And what the exact number was? Okay. And he owes him a dinner, but he owes him really would come out to be 100 days worth of pay. 100 days. Not insignificant. 100 days is still quite a significant sum, but 100 days compared to how much? 160,000 days? What exorbitant. And yet he couldn't forgive him. He couldn't forgive him. After receiving such great mercy from God, you would think that you could, pass it forward, return the favor. He couldn't do it. And so they tell the master what happened. He can't believe it either. And so now he pays the punishment. But the key word is this, what Jesus says. If you don't forgive your brother from your heart, so also my heavenly Father will do to every one of you if you don't forgive your brother from your heart. Those are strong words. And I think sometimes we don't really take them seriously. We take them, well, Jesus is exaggerating. Certainly in the same vein that it says, go and sell everything you have and give it to the poor. None of us think that's really what he, applied to us. And I think somehow we think the same with this forgiveness. Yeah, we forgive people who maybe cut me off in traffic or, didn't hold the door for me or some other slight, but we somehow find reason, excuses that this offense is unforgivable. And Jesus said there's no such thing as being anything that's unforgivable. And I can speak so much more about forgiveness because forgiveness really isn't so much for the person that offended us, it's for you. That you, by forgiving, are free. Right? Holding on to grudges, holding on to unforgiveness, as an example they say is like, drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Right? It doesn't work. In fact, as you hold this grudge, the person's not even thinking about you probably anyway. You're suffering. When you forgive, you are free. It's your heart. It can only store so much. What do you want to put in your heart? What do you want to store up there? Anger, hatred, vile, or peace and forgiveness. And so I remind myself as I read this, because it's such a powerful, powerful reminder, a parable, and I want you as well. Is there somebody that you're not forgiving. You don't say, I know people, Father, you don't know what they, you're right, I don't know what they did, but there's no exceptions, all right? Just say you don't have to forgive, you don't have to forgive, except if they didn't know. There is no except if they. We must forgive every time. And so if you're not there, that space right yet, then simply pray, Lord, for the grace to want to forgive. Take little steps, Lord. You know, right now I can't, I'm hurting, but Lord, I know what you want, so help me get to that point. Now, forgiven doesn't mean, real quick, doesn't mean reconciliation either. Reconciliation is when you two come together and can still be with one another. Sometimes people who offend you, you cannot reconcile because they continue to hurt you. But you forgive them, wish them well, don't wish any harm upon them, but you realize, you know what, your behavior is offensive to me and I can't, be in your presence. But that's a talk for some other time, but now just pray that Lord will help us all forgive. All right? Not easy, but with God's grace we can do it. So stay well. God bless you. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.